亲爱的各位观众朋友们，大家上午好！欢迎大家回到2019赛季 China GT 中国超级跑车锦标赛的年度第4站秦皇岛站的比赛现场，我是方妮。大家可以看到，我现在手上呢是拿了一把雨伞，因为今天现在的天气条件呢是正在下着小雨，所以呢也不知道接下来根据天气预报呢是今天整一天都会有雨，所以势必我们所有车手将会在今天的雨天之下度过一整天的比赛日。那在我身后呢，大家可以看到呢13辆来自于 GT4组别的赛车呢已经准备就绪，那稍后呢他们将会进行的是为期1个小时的比赛。那么在第2场排位赛当中呢，86号车组的2位车手林康和卢思豪是拿下了杆位，所以他们将会从第1位发车。那除此之外呢，因为我们的赛季已经过半了，所以很多我们的这个观众朋友肯定关心的就是在车手积分榜现在榜首的以102分居的这个5号车组2位车手 Alex Fontana和谢安呢，他们将会从第7位发车。究竟1个小时的比赛会有怎样的精彩画面为您呈现呢？让我们共同拭目以待吧。Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to the 4th stop of the 2019 season of China GT Championship right here at Qinhuangdao Shougang Steel Circuit. I'm Sophie Lee. As you can see, I'm holding an umbrella because it's raining day today. According to the weather forecast, it's going to be raining day all day long. And the car number 86 behind me, as you can see, took the pole position from the qualifying 2. So let's cross finger for all the drivers in GT4 category for this 1 hour amazing race. 那接下来的时间呢，在我们的精彩比赛开始之前，首先让我们通过一段视频，共同一起来回顾一下在上一站上海站的一些精彩回放吧。And before all the actions happen on the track, let's take a look at a video clip that will show more about the highlights from Shanghai. Take a look.好的，现在在我身旁的是从杆位发车的86号车组其中的一位车手林康。那林康其实呢，今天从发车位置来说是非常不错的，但是基于昨天的经验，你觉得在今天的比赛当中，对于你来说最具挑战的因素会有哪些？What are going to be the influencing factor during the whole race for today?
昨天的2场比赛刚未发车的车都在还没开始的时候就 spin 掉了，所以希望我队友第一个 stint 能安全把车带回吧，因为今天赛道情况可能比昨天还糟糕。出场圈的时候说赛道上有很多河，所以今天的比赛首先第一棒要安全，然后第2棒我们再看赛道情况会怎么样吧。
好的，谢谢林康，也希望你能打破这样一个魔咒啊，能够好好领跑。So Linka just mentioned about as we see from yesterday, we can see the pole sitter both two races spin for the first corner in the first lap. So he really wanting to lead the race in a really good way. Good luck for you, car number 86. And now it's your time for spectator guys. 接下来时间转回到我们的解说间。
Thank you, Sophie. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Qinhuangdao, to the Shougang GT circuit for round 8 of the 2019 China GT Championship. And as you can see from the multitude of umbrellas there, as well as the one that Sophie was holding, it is wet here this weekend. We had a couple of torrential downpours yesterday. There's been nothing like that so far today, but it has been raining very consistently. You can see for yourself there just how much standing water there is on some of these corners here. Look, and you can see the rain coming down there. Lots of puddles on the outside there. Two particular points on the track, turn 12 and turn 17, very treacherous. As we heard just now from Lin Kang, he's hoping to get a good start off the final corner. And let's go back down and hear more from Sophie now.
好的，那在我身旁的是6号车组的吕薇。那吕薇其实之前征战的耐力赛这种天气条件也是有的，但是赛道条件肯定不会像这样的。昨天没有机会问一下，今天就是昨天的比赛之后，在秦皇岛首钢赛道比赛的感觉，以及你觉得今天你的适应情况如何？
那个昨天也算是第一次用雨胎在秦皇岛开，只不过是雨胎在干地，所以今天的情况对于我来说也是全新的体验，所以希望今天可以表现比昨天更好。
也希望今天从第2位发车的你能够好运，好吗？谢谢。吕薇 mentioned about yesterday. Actually, they are using the rain tire. However, race on the very dry circuit. So today, he sincerely hope that he can have a brand new experience and have a very successful result. Thank you so much. Cross back to your guys. 转回到我们的解说间。
Yes, all the cars today on rain tyres, I would think. It is very wet out there. As we heard from Lin Kang just before we went back to Sophie there. Lin Kang saying how he wants to get a good start from pole position. He and his teammate Lo Tseho. Yesterday in the round 7, we had drama even before the race started when pole sitter Chris Chia spun coming off the final corner to begin the race. Just shows how much wet and how much water and how much rain there is on turn 17. We'll be going down to the grid shortly now. Car 618, the Asia Sonic Racing Aston Martin of Ross Gunn and David Punn, finished second yesterday. And let's go and hear from Ross Gunn now.
好的，在我身旁是618号车组 Ross Gunn。昨天他们是拿到了第2名的成绩。Ross, as we know, taking the second place yesterday and have 35 kg in your car. How does it gonna affect the race today, especially with a condition like these?
I think having weight in the wet isn't going to be too much of a hindrance. I think the car should be hopefully pretty well suited to these conditions. We've always been quite competitive in the wet. But yeah, looking forward to the race. It's going to be a new challenge. I haven't driven this circuit in the wet. I think quite a few people in front of me haven't as well. So the aim is to go forward and then hand the car over in a good position, but also with the car in one piece still as well.
Thank you so much, Ross, and good luck. 那罗森呢跟我们大家分享了一下，其实今天这个发车位置是不错的，但是他已经很长时间都没有真正的感受过真的一个是纯雨战的天气了，所以呢，他也希望今天。
Well, Ross Gunn yesterday made an inspired switch to dry tyres, and that helped him finish in a strong second position. Let's have a look at the championship standings now. Alex Fontana and Chris Chia leading the way after yesterday on 102.5. In second position, Rainy He with 96 points. Third then is Will Bamber on 88. In fourth, next up, we have Liu Kai and Wei Tianyi on 72.5. Peter Liao next up on 68 points. Then it's Lin Kang and Lo Tseho with 64 points, and Sunny Wong, not racing this weekend, they're in 7th position on 60 points. So Alex Fontana and Chris Chia managing to salvage 4th place in yesterday's race, despite that unfortunate spin from Chris Chia just as the race was starting. Chris Chia had been on pole position and then dropped essentially right to the back of the field, but he and Alex Fontana managed to claw their way up into a strong 4th place by the end of the race and still leading the GT4 Championship. So all not lost by any stretch of the imagination. Ross Gunn, in his stint of the race, his team elected to switch to dry tyres, and by the end he was going some 6 or 7 seconds per lap quicker than his competitors by the end, and was really catching Will Bamber hand over fist, but ultimately just came up short. Probably just needed another lap or two in order to catch and pass the New Zealander. But on pole position today, it's Ling Kang, who we heard from on the grid, and his co-driver Lo Tse-ho will take over the first part of this race. They finished 5th in yesterday's race. And you can see there, just looking at the track, just how much standing water there is. And the race, as it did yesterday, will start behind the safety car. So the drivers will form up, follow the safety car for perhaps 2 or 3 laps, just to help disperse some of that water and just to help the drivers get a feel for the track and get a feel for the conditions, much as a footballer, before he goes onto the pitch, just likes to warm up and have a few touches of the ball just to set himself. So a driver likes to get used to his car and to the track. Let's take a look at this Shougang GT circuit. 3.8 kilometers long, 17 turns, and a lot of sharp 90-degree turns. There you see turn 1, a 90-degree left-hander, another one at turn 3, 4 and 5, a left-right kink, and then another 90-degree turn at turn 6. Before turn 7 and 8, and then flat out that kink at turn 9 before braking hard down to the left-hander at turn 10. Another tight right-hander at 11, and then 12, a very treacherous hairpin bend. Lots of water collecting at 12. It's the lowest point on the track. And then turn 17, the final left-hander before the start-finish straight, also proving very troublesome for drivers yesterday. Lots of spinners, not just Chris Chia. We had some spinners and people going off in the GT3 race in the afternoon as well. And the drivers really don't want to get stuck in that long grass, because with the amount of rain we've been having, that grass, very muddy indeed, very difficult to get out. And once you get in, especially in these low-slung cars, really not designed to be going off-roading, it's very difficult to get out. We saw a few cars, unfortunately, being beached yesterday. Let's hope we see some good racing today. Mechanics, engineers, well-wishers, all leaving the grid now. Soon it's just car and driver. And the safety car that you see in the middle of your picture there, that white Mercedes with the orange lights flashing, that car will lead them away. There'll be no formation lap, no 2x2 start as there is under normal dry conditions. When the safety car leads the field away, the race will officially start. So the clock will start counting down from 1 minute when that safety car leaves. And then hopefully we won't be stuck behind this safety car for too long, and we'll be able to go racing. You can see there the track is wet, but it's not actually raining all that hard at the moment. In fact, looking out of my window, it doesn't appear to be raining at all, and you can see a little bit of blue sky. So hopefully the track will start to dry and we can go racing very shortly. The final few people just running off the grid now. And of course the medical car at the back of the field as well. Now that car follows the field around on the first lap in case we have any first lap collisions or incidents, and that medical car then is able to get to the scene of the accident very quickly and treat the drivers. And there we're looking at the hairpin at turn 12. You can see just how much of a downhill gradient there is there, and all the water collects there in a little pool, and very difficult indeed for the drivers, in particular that turn 12. Everyone off the grid now, 15 seconds to go. The board just on the right there. All the windscreen wipers on, of course, very wet out there today. And when we get underway, when the cars peel away from the grid, we should see just how much there is, just how much spray is coming from those tyres. And it'll be a big advantage for Ling Kang and his co-driver Lo Tse-ho, who is in the car at the moment, that number 86 KTM, leading the field away from pole position, because when the safety car pulls in and we go racing, that car will not have any spray. That car will have a clear view. You can see just how much spray is being kicked up from those rain tyres, even at these low speeds. And of course, the drivers weaving from side to side, desperately trying to get some temperature into those tyres, into those brakes. The last thing you want on a day like this is cold tyres and cold brakes. You don't want to lock up spin off and end up in the barriers. You can see just how close the barriers are here at this Shougang GT circuit. It is purpose built, but it's very much like a street circuit. And those barriers very unforgiving. If you hit the curb or hit the grass at the wrong angle and spin, you can end up in the barriers and have a very unfortunate accident, as we saw in Friday practice with the number 92 BMW in the GT3 category. That car unfortunately too badly damaged to take the rest of the weekend. The cars filing around now. What's been interesting so far this weekend is that the track seems to be somewhat dry in some parts and yet very wet indeed in others. You see in this part now just how much spray is being kicked up, and yet on the short straight beforehand the track looks almost dry. Of course, the yellow flag's waving there, that flag there is there to tell the drivers to slow down, and there is a hazard on track. Of course, at the moment behind the safety car there's no racing anyway. The safety car neutralizes the race. There is no overtaking going on. Everybody must file in line behind the safety car, and this is exactly the sort of procedure that will happen in the race if there is an accident on track or some sort of incident and there is a hazard on track. Perhaps a car is beached in an unfortunate position and it's difficult to move it, then the safety car will be deployed. The cars will all have to file in line behind the safety car at this reduced speed. There's no overtaking allowed, and this allows the race director and the stewards to neutralize the race without stopping it, so as to allow the marshals to clear whatever hazard there is in a safe manner before the safety car can be withdrawn and then we can go racing again. There you see the 618 Aston Martin of Ross Gunn, who we spoke to on the grid. That car starting in 4th position today. And Ross Gunn had a tremendous showing yesterday after switching to dry tyres in the mid-race pit stop window, lapping some 6 or 7 seconds per lap quicker than the cars around him. And Ross Gunn, the British driver, making his first China GT appearance of the season this weekend. We'll be hoping for an equally good showing today. You see the clock in the top centre of your picture counting down, 57 minutes to go, 3 minutes already having elapsed. So the race has officially begun. There is no formation lap, and when the race director, when the stewards have decided that the conditions are suitable to go racing in, then the safety car will peel off. We will go racing, but at the moment the safety car's still out there, no sign of it coming in just yet. And great to see full grandstands here. This is a very new track, only completed a matter of weeks ago, and great to see the locals here at Qinhuangdao really embracing China GT despite the inclement weather. A very interesting setting, this Shougang GT circuit, set on the site of an old factory. You can see in the background lots of old chimneys and steel pipes and a nice evocative industrial setting there. You can see on the left-hand side one of the old buildings, and gives it a very interesting feel to the track. A lot of new tracks these days tend to be built, purpose-built out in the field somewhere, completely devoid of any sort of atmosphere, but certainly an interesting backdrop for everybody here at Qinhuangdao. We're on the east coast of China here. This is usually a good spot for a beach holiday, but if you're bringing a bucket and spade with you this weekend, you're going to be gutted, because I don't think it's going to be much fun on the beach this weekend. The safety car's still out, those lights still on. When the safety car comes in, those lights will go out so that everybody can see when exactly the race is going to be starting. And this is one of the points on the track where there really is a lot of spray. You can see just how much is being kicked up there. I should think all these drivers will be on rain tyres at the moment. Yesterday, some of the drivers dabbled with dry tyres, and that really worked for Ross Gunn, but for some other drivers ending up in the grass or in the wall, that was not such a good decision. And that is the treacherous turn 12, lots of standing water. You can see the shine on the road there. You can see just how much water is being kicked up by these tyres as the cars go through. And when those cars go racing, going through their racing speeds, those rooster tails coming off the rear tyres will be even bigger and even more intense. And lots of grass there, lots of runoff. You don't want to be getting stuck in there, because it will be very difficult to get out and your morning may well be run. It's also worth noting that those curbs, such as the ones you can see just to the right of your picture there, they get very slippery indeed in conditions like this. So when it's raining, the drivers often tend to steer clear of the curbs and steer clear of the white lines as well, because those can be treacherous too. You don't want to hit a white line, find that there's a sudden lack of grip, and then all of a sudden you're spinning like a top and heading straight to the scene of the accident. So on pole position, the 86 KTM, Lo Tzu-Ho and Lin Kang. In second place, the number 6 Phantom Pro Racing Mercedes of Rainy He and Lu Wei. Lu Wei will be starting, and Rainy He will take over for the second stint. And those two managed to finish in third place in round 7 yesterday morning. No doubt hoping for another good show again today. In third place is the 999 Team Master Champ BMW, the only BMW in this morning's race. That is driven by Wang Hao, and Wang Hao the only driver of that car today, so when he comes in for his mandatory pit stop, he will have to stay in his car. There'll be no one coming to relieve him, so Wang Hao pulling a double shift today. In fourth position, as we've said, Ross Gunn and his teammate David Pun will be taking over for the second portion of the race. In fifth position, the second Extreme Motorsports KTM of Liu Kai and Wei Tianyi. Liu Kai also racing this afternoon in the GTC category. So Liu Kai actually won yesterday's race in his GTC category, and he said that having raced in the morning in the GT4 race, that really helped him when he came to racing in the afternoon in GTC category, because he had a much better feel for the conditions and the track than his fellow GT3 and GTC racers who hadn't had the benefit of also racing in the GT4 category in the morning. So Liu Kai, a busy weekend for him, but certainly putting in his extra shift to good use. In sixth position, the 570 McLaren of Michael O'Brien and Dong Liang. Michael O'Brien, the British driver with a lot of experience in the British GT Championship, taking over from Charlie Fagg this weekend. This is Michael O'Brien's first weekend in the 2019 China GT Championship, and the safety car's lights are off. We'll return to the pits this lap. There you see the orange lights no longer flashing. The safety car will pull in, and at the end of this lap we will go racing. And let's see, it will be very interesting to see if Lo Tzu-Ho, who is piloting the 86 car, there it is, the red and white car, if he can make it round the first or round the last corner without spinning off. We had a lot of trouble here yesterday. Lo Tzu-Ho taking it very gingerly, but it looks as if he's made it okay. And we're going racing now. Lo Tzu-Ho in first position. In second place, it's the number 6 Mercedes of Lu Wei, having a little look up the inside, but no, Lo Tzu-Ho holding that position as they go through the first left-hander. Lu Wei still in second position. And look how much water there is. It is very wet out there. Those drivers taking it very carefully as they go through the left-hander at turn 3. Lo Tzu-Ho holding on to his pole position. Lu Wei in second place. In third position, Ross Gunn. It looks as if he's already made it up into third place. So Wang Tao in the BMW down into fourth place. There is Ross Gunn in the Aston Martin. Now, he is the pro driver in his Pro-Am driver pairing. Lo Tzu-Ho and Lu Wei considered to be AM drivers, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Ross Gunn taking the lead quite early on. The 570 car of Michael O'Brien making it up into fourth position there. Michael O'Brien, another pro driver, so it wouldn't be any surprise at all to see Ross Gunn and Michael O'Brien making their way to the front very soon. All the drivers seem to have made it through, as Michael O'Brien being challenged now by one of the Mercedes. Can't quite see which one in the spray. It's the number 5, and Michael O'Brien going wide there and losing a couple of places. So Michael O'Brien down to 6th position, and Ross Gunn going around the outside. Yes, he is into second place. So Ross Gunn up into second place. Look how much water there is standing on the outside at turn 12 as they negotiate that turn. But Ross Gunn in the Aston Martin up into second position. Lu Wei down into third place. And look at the water streaming off the rear tyres there. It'll be very difficult for Lu Wei to see anything at all, and he takes a wider line into the right-hander there. Lo Tzu-Ho still at the front of the field as they start lap 4. That is the number 5 car of Alex Fontana. So Alex Fontana in 4th position now. The Swiss driver, another pro driver, so we might expect Alex Fontana to make early headway. In 5th position, the number 22 car of Guo Xin. That car won yesterday's race. Guo Xin and Will Bamber. but in 5th position at the moment, and Michael O'Brien down to 6th after running wide and losing a couple of places last lap. Qinhuangdao not having a good opening few laps, down to 10th position from 3rd on the grid. So Qinhuangdao suffering a bit in the early laps, perhaps not happy with his car, not happy with the conditions, but thankfully all 11 cars that started the race still running. In 1st position still Lo Tseho in the Extreme Motorsports KTM. Lo Tseho, there he is, still in the lead. Ross Gunn in 2nd place, but Lo Tseho holding his own at this point, 1.5 seconds ahead as Alex Fontana goes up. Does he? Yes, into 3rd position. So Alex Fontana into 3rd position, going up the inside of Lu Wei. Lu Wei down to 4th place, and he will be challenged soon by the number 22 car of Guo Shin. This, the battle for 3rd place. Alex Fontana in 3rd place. Lu Wei in 4th position. Guo Shin in 5th place. The 3 Mercedes running line astern there. A very wet portion of the track, this indeed, as we focus in on Alex Fontana. And look how much closer Guo Shin is in 5th place, getting very close indeed to the back of Lu Wei as Alex Fontana goes and begins another lap. Lo Tseho still holding his own, still in the lead. Ross Gunn in 2nd position. Ross Gunn with the new fastest lap of the race, 156.8, and that is some 13 or so seconds slower than we were seeing in yesterday's race. And Guo Shin running a little bit wide there, but still very close behind Lu Wei. Lu Wei with his mirrors full of Guo Shin, who won yesterday's round 7 along with his teammate Will Bamber. Michael O'Brien in 6th position, still in the 570 McLaren. So dropping back a little bit, Michael O'Brien perhaps not totally happy with the conditions so far, but Guo Shin looking pretty racy in 5th position, just behind the number 6 car of Lu Wei, looking for a way past. But Lu Wei holding his own at the moment. Alex Fontana just pulling away a little bit in 3rd place. Ross Gunn still in 2nd position, and Lo Tseho, the Hong Kong driver, still in the lead. But Ross Gunn taking just about a second out of Lo Tseho on that last lap. The gap as they cross the start-finish line, 0.658 seconds. So Ross Gunn, I should think, will be wanting to get on the back of Lo Tseho and overtake the Hong Kong driver as soon as he possibly can before he hands over to his teammate David Pun for the second portion of the race. As you can see, 46 minutes still to go. Now, when that clock ticks down to 35 minutes, the pit window will open and will be open for 10 minutes. Each of those cars will be obliged to come in, and a little bit of a slide there from Lu Wei, but he managed to catch it. Doesn't appear to have lost too much time. Guo Shin right on Lu Wei's gearbox now. They're coming up to that last corner. Let's see if Lu Wei can take that last corner well. He doesn't run wide, doesn't slide. Lu Wei lives to fight another day in 4th place, but Guo Shin, I think, will be emboldened by that. He'll want to pressure Lu Wei into a mistake. Now Lu Wei taking a very wide line, and Guo Shin, does he? Ooh, I don't know if there's enough room. They're side by side as they go through the kink at turn 2, and Guo Shin does make that move stick as they go through the left-hander at turn 3. So Guo Shin up into 4th position. Lu Wei down to 5th, just ran a little bit wide on the entry of turn 1, and Guo Shin didn't need asking twice. So Guo Shin up into 4th place and already starting to pull a little bit of a gap. He'll be looking to chase Alex Fontana and close up on the Swiss driver. Lo Tseho now 1.8 seconds ahead of Ross Gunn, and his last lap over 1 second quicker. So Ross Gunn perhaps made a little bit of a mistake on that lap as Guo Shin runs a little bit wide over those curbs there. These drivers usually need to be careful about exceeding track limits because the stewards do tend to take a rather dim view of that, but given the conditions, I should think maybe they'll be a little bit more lenient. But these drivers won't want to be touching those curbs too much because they can be very treacherous in these wet conditions. But one man And running a little bit wide there and touching those curves is Lo Tzu-ho, still in the lead. You can see the gap now between him and Ross Gunn a little bit wider. It was 1.8 seconds as they crossed the line last time, up from 0.7 of a second. So Lo Tzu-ho holding his own, doing a very good job indeed. Lo Tzu-ho considered to be an amateur driver, but a very quick driver in his own right as he comes around the last corner. Still a lot of spray on the inside of turn 17. Let's see what the gap is now. It's 1.3 seconds. So Ross Gunn took about 4/10 out of Lo Tzu-ho on that last lap. Alex Fontana a further 1.7 seconds behind and catching Ross Gunn ever so slightly. The two of them last time out setting a 1:56.8, so more or less identical times. These are your top three in the same shot there. Lo Tzu-ho in first place, Ross Gunn in second, and Alex Fontana in third position. And these three pulling away a little bit from the chasing pack. You see the gap on your screen there, 1.757 seconds. That was the gap between Ross Gunn and Alex Fontana as they crossed the start-finish line. Fontana with a 1:56.8, and in fourth place, Quoquo Shin a 1:59.0. And the gap now between third and fourth place is 5.3 seconds. So the front three starting to pull away a little bit now from the rest of the chasing pack. And still a lot of spray. The rain has relented. Looking out of my window, I can't see too much. It doesn't look as if it's raining at all, but you can see for yourself just how much shine there still is on the surface and how much spray is being kicked up. And often when you're looking down from the camera that we're looking at now, a lot easier to see than it is when you're actually in the car and when you're at eye level, because all you're seeing is a wall of spray when you're driving there. And that is what Ross Gunn will be looking at into Lo Tzu-ho, and that is what Alex Fontana will be looking at into the back of Ross Gunn. Quoquo Shin taking a wide line there through the right-hander, perhaps looking for a little bit of grip. Sometimes when it's wet you can try different things, going around the outside. There's sometimes a little bit more grip. But Quoquo Shin seems to be holding his own in fourth position. Lo Tzu-ho beginning lap 8 now, and Ross Gunn getting very close, just 0.4 of a second behind Lo Tzu-ho, and had a little look up the inside. Probably not quite close enough for a move, but he wants to make sure, Ross Gunn, that Lo Tzu-ho's mirrors are full of that Aston Martin. And look how close Alex Fontana is as well, because while these two at the front have been squabbling, Alex Fontana has taken the opportunity to close up a little bit. He took 0.4 of a second out of Ross Gunn on that last lap. Ross Gunn maybe lost a little bit of time as he had just a little look up the inside of Lo Tzu-ho, and that allowed Alex Fontana to close right up. The front three really line astern at the moment as the clock ticks down to 41 minutes to go, 19 minutes having elapsed. And Ross Gunn now not only has to deal with finding a way past Lo Tzu-ho, he's also got to try to contend with Alex Fontana behind him, and it looks to me as if Fontana is closer this time round. Ross Gunn maybe going to the left of the track, going a little bit defensive there. The next corner is a left-hander, and he doesn't want to leave the inside exposed for Fontana to shoot up there. But Ross Gunn nevertheless still in second place. Fontana not making any drastic moves just yet. There's still 2/3 of the race to go. No need to panic just yet. Lo Tzu-ho still in the lead. This is turn 12. Lots of standing water still on the inside of turn 12. We haven't seen too many drivers come a cropper there. It is very, very slow at the best of times, and perhaps a bit too slow to be running wide or sliding off there anyway. Turn 17 appears to be far more treacherous. Had lots of people spinning off and running wide there yesterday. Thankfully nobody caught out there today, and this is turn 17, and they've all made it through. So Lo Tzu-ho starting another lap, lap 9 now. Ross Gunn in second position, Alex Fontana in third place. The gap 0.9 of a second from Lo Tzu-ho to Ross Gunn, 0.5 of a second from Ross Gunn to Alex Fontana, and then Quoquo Shin a further 5 seconds back in third position. Quoquo Shin actually last time round pulling the fastest lap of the race, or the fastest lap, last lap of the race, a 1:56.694, just a few thousandths of a second slower than Lo Ziho's fastest lap, which is a 1:56.688. So Guo Guoxin settling into a nice rhythm. There he is in 4th place, and he's dropping the number 6 car of Lu Wei into 5th position, some 2.2 seconds ahead now, Guo Guoxin. So the number 22 car, a rather solitary run in 4th position at the moment, as Alex Fontana again trying to find a way past Ross Gunn and challenging as they come through to the left-hander at turn 10. Ross Gunn again going defensive, taking the inside line and then moving to the outside to take his racing line for the corner. Look how close Alex Fontana is as they go through the left-hander at turn 10. The Swiss driver almost nudging the back of the Aston Martin. It looks certainly as if Fontana is happier in these conditions than Ross Gunn. Again, getting very, very close, nudging the back of the car as they go through turn 12. It looked as if he might be going alongside, but Ross Gunn living to fight another day. And all this good news for Lo Ziho, because he's going to be extending his lead while these two are squabbling over 2nd place and losing time. Fontana again taking the wide line there, perhaps looking for a quicker exit. But Ross Gunn, not to be denied, difficult to overtake in this tight, twisty section in the last portion of the track. As they come around turn 17, the left-hander to start another lap here, lap 10. Fontana again looking to the inside, but nothing doing this time round. Guo Guoxin in the background there in 4th place. A bit of curb hopping there from Fontana, and that won't do him any good at all. No point losing time hopping over those curbs there. But across the left-hander at turn 3, that does seem to be the optimum line to take. Everybody doing so as Guo Guoxin in the background there in 4th place, followed closely by the number 6 of Lu Wei. The top 3 there still line astern. Lo Ziho still in the lead, 1.2 seconds ahead of Ross Gunn at the last count as they passed the start-finish straight. Alex Fontana still getting very close behind Ross Gunn, trying to force the Aston Martin driver into a mistake. Those are Ross Gunn's mechanics, the Aston Martin team looking pensively on. Alex Fontana flashing his lights there, perhaps just to let Ross Gunn know that he's there, although I think the British driver will be very well aware of the Swiss driver in his mirrors. As they go through the left-hander there, the pit window will be open in just under 2 minutes time, and it'll be interesting to see which drivers elect to come in immediately or which drivers stay out. There is a 10-minute window in which you can take your mandatory pit stop, and these 3 drivers very close now. Lo Ziho perhaps made a little bit of a mistake, seems to have lost a little bit of time. The front 3 absolutely together now. This is fantastic racing here at Qinhuangdao. Lo Ziho getting a bit of a slide on, and that won't do him any good at all. Ross Gunn going for a look up the inside, Lo Ziho to the outside, and Ross Gunn going through into the lead. So Ross Gunn into the lead, Lo Ziho still in 2nd place. Alex Fontana not having made it through. So Ross Gunn into the lead now as they come through to start another lap. Lo Ziho in 2nd place, and Fontana is going to be challenging going up the inside. That Mercedes does tend to be quicker than the KTM, and Fontana through into 2nd position. So a bad lap for Lo Ziho there. He got a little bit of a slide on, and that really compromised his corner exit, and Ross Gunn was able to take advantage, go up the inside, and Alex Fontana now into 2nd place. But Lo Ziho still fighting back. That KTM does tend to be very quick in the corners, and you can see how much quicker he tends to be. But the KTM, although it is very quick and agile through the corners, does tend to lose out on the straights. And a big slide there from Fontana, and Lo Ziho, it looks as if he's gone back up into 2nd position. Fontana, this time it was the Swiss driver's turn for a big slide, and he's looking again up the inside, and he tags Lo Ziho. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Lo Ziho onto the grass, tagged by Fontana there, but he's managed to keep the engine running, and let's see if he can get out. It looks as if he's all right, the wheel's spinning, but he's made it back. So Lo Ziho still in the race, down I think now into 5th position. So Fontana looking up the inside of Lo Ziho and just tagged the Hong Kong driver and spun him around like a top. So bitter disappointment for Lo Ziho, who had been leading the race up to this point, now being challenged by the 570 McLaren of Michael O'Brien, taking the outside line, but Lo Ziho still holding on to 5th position. The pit window now open, so we should start to see some of the drivers coming in for their mandatory pit stops. Ross Gunn there, the new race leader in the Aston Martin, and Alex Fontana behind him in second position, obviously suffering no ill effects from that little nudge with Lo Tse-ho. And Lo Tse-ho similarly seems to have avoided any contact. Ross Gunn staying out for another lap, not coming in. I should think we might see Ross Gunn and Alex Fontana stay out for quite some time. Those two being the pro drivers, and they will be handing over to their amateur counterparts who, in theory, would be slower than the two professional drivers. So Ross Gunn and Alex Fontana staying out, but Lo Tse-ho coming in. So Lo Tse-ho coming in, and also coming into the pit lane is Lu Wei, and he will hand over to Rainy He, his counterpart. Rainy He, the pro driver in that Pro-Am driver pairing. So again, in theory, the quicker driver of the two, so it makes sense to have your quicker driver driving for the lion's share of the race. So perfectly normal for Lu Wei to be coming in towards the beginning of the pit window, and it looks as if Alex Fontana and Ross Gunn will be staying out until closer to the end of the window. Ross Gunn there still in the lead of the race, 2.8 seconds ahead of Alex Fontana. And let's have a little look at that incident between Fontana and Lo Tse-ho, where there you see, this is the beginning. Lo Tse-ho gets a little bit of a slide on, loses momentum. Ross Gunn goes up the inside, takes the lead. Lo Tse-ho holds on to second position for the time being, but Alex Fontana clearly smelling blood by this point, having seen Ross Gunn get through. It looks as if he gets a better drive out of that last corner. Lo Tse-ho going a bit defensive as they come to the left-hander. Alex Fontana makes it through here into second position, but Lo Tse-ho still looking racy. Got a better corner exit and still pushing Alex Fontana hard. Fontana taking the inside line there, and here, I think it's here, yes, look, you see Fontana gets a big slide as he goes over those curbs, very slippery. Lo Tse-ho takes the opportunity to take that position back. Fontana trying to take that position back immediately, but then tries to go up the inside and nudges, or rather barges Lo Tse-ho out of the way. Lo Tse-ho stuck onto that grass, but thankfully made it back into the race. Ross Gunn still in the lead. Alex Fontana in second position. Fontana clearly suffering no ill effects from that collision, because he's just set the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:55.6, and as you can see on your screen just there, the gap now down to 1.75 seconds. So Alex Fontana taking over a second ahead, over a second out of Ross Gunn on that last lap. And the gap visually coming down now. And in third position, Guo Xin still very much holding his own, only 3.3 seconds behind Alex Fontana. And his last lap also quicker than Ross Gunn's, a 1:56.6 compared with a 1:56.7 for Ross Gunn. So Guo Xin clearly looking to join the party as well up at the front of the field, as we look at the 999 BMW of Wang Hao in for his mandatory pit stop. No tyres being changed on that car, it appears, and Wang Hao driving the whole race himself. So this merely just a matter of ticking the boxes and ensuring that his car stays on the pit lane stationary for the mandatory 60 seconds. And the incident at turn 7 between 86 and car number 5 is under investigation, and that was that incident between Alex Fontana and Lo Tse-ho. So the stewards having a look at that, and we'll see if they deem that to have been a little bit naughty from Alex Fontana. It certainly looked as if he was coming back from quite a long way behind Lo Tse-ho, but in the meantime he's still there, still racing, still in second position, and still just behind Ross Gunn as they begin lap 14. Ross Gunn a 1:56.3, but Alex Fontana again taking a few tenths out. A 1:55.7 for Alex Fontana, and the gap now 1.1 seconds. So Fontana going well in these conditions. The drivers, as they go through the left-hander at turn 3 there, seem to be enjoying taking quite a bit of curb there as we tick down past the 30-minute mark. So half the race gone, half the race still to go, as Ross Gunn and Alex Fontana coming up to lap 1 of the McLarens. I think that is the 49 car, driven by Qinhuangdao and Kenneth Lim. And Fontana getting very close there to the back of Rosgun as we look at Guoguo Xin, who also hasn't stopped, still in third position. There you see the gap, 4 seconds between Alex Fontana and Guoguo Xin, and Fontana right now behind Rosgun. So Alex Fontana closing up on Rosgun, will be looking to do to the Englishman what he did to Lo Tseho a few laps ago, getting very close to the back of Rosgun there as the two of them come to lap the 49 McLaren, who gets out of the way as he should. That was good driving from the 49 McLaren. Always good to be aware, if you're a back marker, be aware of the leaders coming up to lap you and get out of the way and let them get on with their race in due course. So good driving from the 49 McLaren. And up at the front, still Rosgun in the lead, just holding on from Alex Fontana, who again just got a little bit of a slide on there, perhaps just touched a little bit of standing water. There was a bit of a twitch, and now Rosgun eking out perhaps a little more of a lead as they go around turn 17 again to start lap 15. And let's see what the gap is this time round. 0.8 of a second, so Rosgun a 1:56.6, Alex Fontana a 1:56.3. The Swiss driver taking another 3/10 out of Rosgun on that lap, but I think that gap was even smaller in the middle part of the lap before Fontana had that little moment where he just had a little bit of a twitch. He did look as if he was very close to the back of Rosgun and might have been in the position to make a move, but nothing doing just yet. Rosgun still in the lead, but Alex Fontana getting closer. He seems to enjoy this middle section of the track, Alex Fontana. This is where he seems to gain most of his time, but Rosgun, every time they pass the start-finish straight, which seems to be the optimum overtaking spot, the start-finish straight and then into turn 1, Rosgun just seems to have enough to keep Alex Fontana at bay. The Swiss driver getting very close as they go around the kink at turn 9. Hard braking down into the left-hander at turn 10. Fontana going to the inside, but not close enough just yet. Rosgun holding his line. You can see how much closer Fontana looks under braking. Fontana seems to be enjoying these slower corners a little bit more than Rosgun. Very difficult to overtake in this tight, twisty section of the track. Lots of water still splashing off the tyres of these two as they go through the hairpin at turn 12. And then round this long left-hander at turn 13. Another kink to the right at turn 14. Rosgun again pulling out a little bit more of a lead there as they brake hard with the hairpin bend at turn 15. And that should see Rosgun safely, and Rosgun coming into the pits, and so does Alex Fontana. So the two leaders into the pit lane, and this will be interesting to see how well they get through and how quickly and efficiently the pit stops are. Now Alex Fontana and his teammate Chris Chia were obliged to be stationary for 73 seconds. Rosgun and David Pun also obliged to be stationary for 73 seconds. So in theory we should see them leaving the pits as they were when they came in, line astern. But let's see how everything goes. This is the number 5 car of Alex Fontana. He's handing over to his co-driver Chris Chia, who is also the team owner of the Phantom Pro Racing team. There is Rosgun's car, and he's getting out, and David Pun, his teammate, the Chinese driver, will be replacing him as one of the KTMs goes by. That is the 87 car of Yokai and Wei Tianyi. Wei Tianyi now taking over for the second portion of the race, and the Aston Martin is out. David Pun leaving the pits, and David Pun, the Aston Martin, still ahead, I think, of the number 5 Mercedes, now with Chris Chia at the wheel. So we've had the pro drivers driving, and now it's the turn of the amateur drivers, David Pun and Chris Chia. Let's see if they can carry on where their pro counterparts left off, and the Mercedes team have come out in the lead. So Chris Chia now in the lead, or in the net lead of the race, because some of these drivers may still not have stopped. We'll have to wait a lap or two to see just where everybody is, but it looks to me as if Chris Chia in the number 5 Phantom Pro Racing Mercedes is now in the lead. The 618 Aston Martin down into second position, and in third place is the 22 car of Guo Xin now being piloted by Will Bamber. Now, Will Bamber is the pro driver in that driver pairing. So Guo Xin, the amateur driver, handing over to Will Bamber. So a different tactic from the third place D2 racing car. They're going with their pro driver second, whereas the number 5 and number 618 cars in first and second going with their pro driver first and the amateur driver second. And David Punn using all the road and a little bit more as he goes through the left-hander at turn 8. So this is good news, I would think, for Will Bamber, the pro driver there. Yellow flags, and it looks as if the safety car is out. So on the timing monitor it says the safety car is out. You can see the yellow flags being waved. So this again is good news, and there is the reason. That is the 999 BMW of Wang Hao, who must have just lost it on the grass and then into the barrier. The car still moving, so it looks as if Wang Hao is perfectly all right. And has he managed to keep it going? He's managed to keep his engine running. You can see just how much he's bogged down in that grass. It really is a quagmire, but he seems to be all right. A little bit of impromptu lawn mowing from Wang Hao there. Let's see if he can get all the way out. His rear wheels spinning and spinning. Come on, Wang Hao, you can do it. Just a little further. You can see all the mud that he's managing to. He's actually got quite a lot of grip there. I'm quite surprised to see. And Wang Hao back on the race. So a little bit of drama there. So Wang Hao, after his little tap with the barrier, manages to get out. The safety car still out. You can see the yellow flags and the safety car board being waved, hopefully, and you can see, look at all the mud that is coming out from Wang Hao's car as he negotiates the left-hander at turn 12, and that's not going to do anybody else any good at all. But there it is, the safety car is out. The safety car has picked up the leader, Chris Chia. In second place, David Punn, and in third place, Will Bamber. And this is good news for Will Bamber, because he's now right up on the tail of the two leaders that he wants to try to overtake. And as I said just now, Will Bamber, the professional driver, Chris Chia and David Punn, the amateur drivers in those driver pairings. So Will Bamber, in theory, should be the quicker of the two and should be able to get past with relative ease. In fourth position is the number 6 Mercedes, now being driven by Rainy He. Rainy He, also a pro driver, so he'll be wanting to get by David Punn and Chris Chia as quickly as possible as well. But of course, they are battling for position. Chris Chia and David Punn have absolutely no obligation to let Will Bamber and Rainy He by. Why should they? So the New Zealander Will Bamber and the Chinese driver Rainy He will have to find their way past the front two if they want to get by. And we saw Alex Fontana having a little bit of a moment earlier in the race, and he's now in the pit lane talking to Sophie now. Well, we'll try to hear from Alex Fontana again soon. Back in the race with 20 minutes to go. The safety car still out. And Alex Fontana and Lo Tzu-ho, we saw them have a little bit of a moment there where Fontana tapped Lo Tzu-ho into a spin. That was being investigated by the stewards, and they've decreed no further action. So stewards have decreed that Alex Fontana's move on Lo Tzu-ho was perfectly legitimate, and there will be no punishment for the number 5 car, no time penalty or anything like that. The safety car still leading the field around after Wang Hao had a little bit of a moment and ended up in the barriers. But there you see Wang Hao, the BMW, managed to get out back onto the track, taking a lot of mud and grass with him. Quite surprised that he managed to get out, because those cars are very difficult to get out of the wet grass. It is something of a quagmire, but the wet tyres, the treaded tyres that those cars have on to cope with these wet conditions, clearly helping him to find a little bit of grip. And after a lot of spinning his wheels, the Chinese driver Wang Hao managed to get back in the race, although he is way down now in 9th position. as we look at the Aston Martin mechanics and engineers there looking on. Those are the mechanics for David Punn and Ross Gunn, and their boy David Punn in second position at the moment. There he is going through the 618 Aston Martin, just ahead of Will Bamber in the yellow and grey 22 car, the D2 Racing Mercedes. And the safety car is in this lap, so the safety car's lights are off. The safety car will come in this lap and we will go racing again. And you can see again, just on this section of the track, it does look quite a bit drier. We've not had any significant rain since the race started. And with these cars pounding round at speed every lap in the treaded tyres, it does tend to disperse a lot of the standing water that was there. So the yellow flag's still out for the time being. The yellow flag's there to tell the drivers to slow down and that there is a hazard on track. Well, the safety car lights are still on, so on the timing monitor it does say that the safety car is returning to the pits this lap, but the safety car lights are still on, the flags are still waving, and the safety car board that the marshal is holding there is still out. So perhaps the safety car not coming in just yet and will be out for another lap. It does indeed appear to be the case. We haven't had an update on the timing monitor yet, but all signs suggest that the safety car will stay out for another lap as we look at the 999 car of Wang Hao now bringing up the rear after his moment of drama in the grass earlier. Thankfully doesn't appear to be suffering from any ill effects of his little trip there. Still back in the race. And the safety car still out as they come through turn 12. You can see just how much water there is at turn 12 than at some of the other sections on the track, and that makes it tricky for the drivers as well, because very changeable conditions even within one lap, and the safety car lights are indeed out now, so the safety car should be pulling in this lap. They're just coming around to the right hand hairpin now at turn 15. The safety car should peel off into the pits, and then once the safety car peels off we'll go racing again. And the Mercedes of Chris Chia will be leading the field away. Let's hope he doesn't make a mistake at turn 17 like he did yesterday. No, Chris Chia leading the field away, but David Punn right on his gearbox. David Punn going to the inside as they cross the line. Chris Chia still in the lead. It looks as if Chris Chia might hold the lead into the first corner. David Punn still in second place. Will Bamber right behind in third position. Rainey He in fourth place. And David Punn going to the outside there. Will Bamber looking for a way past. They almost touch. But David Punn holding on to second position ahead of Will Bamber. Rainey He also looking for a way past. So the Mercedes of Chris Chia still leading. The Aston Martin of David Punn in second place. The Mercedes of Will Bamber in third. And the Mercedes of Rainey He in fourth position. The top four with just over 16 minutes of the race still to go. Leading the way, Chris Chia, David Punn, a little bit of a slide there. Will Bamber in third position and Rainey He in fourth place. And no need to panic for Will Bamber here. And David Punn getting a big slide on. That's going to compromise his exit. And Will Bamber also going very wide there. And that has let Rainey He through. So Rainey He through into third position. Is he? They're going side by side, Rainey He and Will Bamber on the outside there. Chris Chia braking hard in first position. David Punn in second, and Rainey He does make it through into third place. So Will Bamber down to fourth after running wide at the corner there, just as David Punn got a little bit of a slide on. Will Bamber still very close behind, still very wet down there at turn 12. As Will Bamber getting very close behind Rainey He. David Punn looks as if he's gone a little wide there as well, and that's going to allow Rainey He up onto the gearbox of the Aston Martin. Chris Chia, meanwhile, still leading the race, pulling out a little bit of a lead, while these three are squabbling for position behind him. David Punn still holding on to second place. Rainey He in third, Will Bamber in fourth. Let's have a look at the lap times as they cross the start-finish straight to begin lap 20. Chris Chia with a 1:49.9. Rainey He having a little look up the inside there. The gap from Chris Chia now 1.4 seconds to David Punn. So Chris Chia dropping his Chinese compatriot a little bit. David Punn with his mirrors full of Rainey He at the moment. Chinese drivers first, second and third. New Zealander Will Bamber in 4th position. And the 86 car of Lin Kang now having taken over from Lo Taho, another Chinese driver, Lin Kang in 5th position. There he is, going through in 6th position. It's the 570 of Dong Liang now. So 5 Chinese drivers in the top 6 at the moment. Will Bamber in 4th place, the sole interloper. But Chris Chia still in the lead. David Pan still holding on to 2nd place. Rainy He going a little bit wide there. Rainy He flashing his lights there just to let David Pan know he's there. The gap 0.6 of a second as they went over the start-finish line the last time round. Will Bamber down into 4th place. David Pan taking a tight line there, just going a little defensive. And Chris Chia, has Chris Chia made a little bit of a mistake there? Because look, you can see how close the gap is now between, this is the front 3, all line astern, absolutely together. Chris Chia still in the lead, but all of a sudden David Pan right on his gearbox, Rainy He right behind him, and Will Bamber maintaining a watching brief in 4th place. These are the first 5 drivers that you can see there in your picture. Great close racing here at Qinhuangdao. Chris Chia perhaps ran a little wide or had a little bit of a moment there, but Chris Chia still just holding on to the lead. David Pan still in 2nd place and absolutely together, the front 5. This is fantastic racing with 13 minutes still to go. David Pan, another big slide. He likes a slide, doesn't he, David Pan? But he's still in 2nd position, and lots of pensive faces in the pit lane as Chris Chia still holds on just to 1st position. David Pan in 2nd place, looking for a way through. Rainy He in 3rd position, and Will Bamber still in 4th place. Lin Kang in the KTM in 5th position there. The front 4 absolutely together as Chris Chia goes through the left-hand king and then through the right-hander. And then braking hard down now. The front 5 absolutely together. Lin Kang looking to go up the inside of Will Bamber and taking. Yes, he does. Lin Kang up into 4th position as Chris Chia still just holds on to the lead. David Pan looking for a way through, and David Pan going up the inside, is he, and taking the lead. David Pan into the lead of the race, sliding this way and that. Chris Chia also sliding. Rainy He into 3rd place, and they bang wheels. Look at this, a bit of dodging cars, and David Pan punted into the barriers there by Chris Chia. He looks as if he's kept the engine running. A bit of debris on track there, and Chris Chia looks as if he is into the wall. And it looks as if there could be suspension damage there, and it looks as if Lin Kang in the 86 car involved in that carambolage as well. You can see the car lilting to one side. Chris Chia into the wall. It looks as if Chris Chia's race has run. Well, it looks as if bitter disappointment there for Chris Chia. That was shaping up to be a fantastic battle. Lin Kang obviously with damage there. He opens his car up, the safety car unsurprisingly coming out so that this debris can be cleared up. There is the number 5, Chris Chia. That car doesn't look as if it's going anywhere. The safety car ready to pick up the leader. In all that excitement, we'll wait to see who the leader is. It looks like David Pan. Well, it looks like he's got some damage there because you can see that car. Yes, his right rear tyre is not pointing in the right direction. He's struggling to keep the car straight. That looks like a suspension problem to me. So David Pan, I should think, coming into the pits to retire, doesn't look like the sort of problem that can be fixed quickly. So into the lead now. It looks as if Rainy He is now leading the race. We'll wait to see exactly what happens when, or what the timing screens look like when the drivers go round for a new lap. But it looks as if Rainy He is now in the lead with Will Bamber in 2nd position and Dong Liang in 3rd place. And they're walking in, bitterly disappointed. A lot of drivers losing out in that carambolage involving at least 3 cars there. Rainy He looks as if he's got through cleanly. It looks as if Rainy He's in the lead with Will Bamber in 2nd place. There is the 618 Aston Martin. It looks as if David Pan is pulling in to retire, and that's a great shame for David Pan and Ross Gunn. The two of them had a fantastic race yesterday, closing down hand over fist on the leaders to finish in second place, and the Aston Martin in today's race looking set for a big points haul. There you see the stricken KTM also out of the race. So it looks as if Chris Chia in the number 5 car, Lin Kang in the 86 car, and David Pun in the 618 Aston Martin all out of the race. Well, a disappointing end to what was shaping up to be a fantastic battle between the top 5. A bit of debris on the track there. Unsurprisingly, the safety car out, while those cars and all the debris can be cleared away. Let's hope that everything continues in good order. That is the Aston Martin. And maybe, well, they've got the tools out there. Maybe they're going to try to fix it and get that car out again. It did look as if the left rear tyre was at a funny angle, which would suggest a suspension failure, and that's not the sort of thing that can be fixed in the 8 or so minutes that we have still to go in the race. There you see the safety car. The lights are on. The safety car not coming in anytime soon. All the debris on the track still needs to be cleared before we can go racing. Let's hope that we do get a few minutes racing, because that clock you can see there still ticking down. We have just under 8 minutes to go now, so let's hope that we do get at least a lap or two of close racing. Let's have a look at the replay, see if we can see what happened here. Now, Chris Chia gets a little bit of a slide on. David Pun goes up to the left and then veers to the right. Will Bamber just behind him there. As they come through here, David Pun gets a big slide on. Will Bamber goes a little bit wide. Chris Chia still first, David Pun still second, and that's Rainy Ho going ahead of Will Bamber. Lin Kang also taking the New Zealander, and David Pun getting very close to the back of Chris Chia here, perhaps getting a little bit impatient, going up and taking Chris Chia up the inside through the left-hander, and then gets a bit of a slide on. Chris Chia gets a better exit. The two of them, they bang wheels here a couple of times, and then Chris Chia just punts David Pun into the barriers. David Pun there, that must be where the damage came, where he hit the barrier there. And the mechanics and drivers there, as they, well, yeah, very difficult to see exactly what happened there. Let's go down to Sophie.
在我身旁的是刚刚呢，大家可以看到，在最后快10分钟的时候，有发生碰撞事故的618号车组的其中一位车手 Ross Gunn， 但是他已经完成了他的部分。So Ross, what a pity, because we know that the starting position is great. However, this is the competition. Everyone trying to fight for their best. How do you expect so far, especially based on what happened on the track now?
Yeah, a little bit of a shame. We had a really good first stint. We went from P4 to P1. We lost a little bit of time in the pit stop, but we were still in a fight for the win. And then, yeah, unfortunately, we just had a small coming together with a couple of cars all going for one place. So, bit of a shame. We've bent the rear toe link, and hopefully we can get out to do a few more laps at the end. But, yeah, we've lost a good result, unfortunately.
Feel sorry for that. Thank you so much, Ross. Ross 呢跟大家分享了一下，从第4位发车呢到了第1，然后一直保持第1，但是因为确实是比赛当中的激烈竞争，导致了他们最后现在已经是到最后的位置，然后车已经回到 P 房进行维修了。但是呢，也希望稍后就是潘君凌驾驶的这辆阿斯顿马丁赛车还能继续再开几圈。不过呢，已经丢失了领奖台的位置。那接下来时间呢，就将我们的现场转交回解说间 ，Cross back to you guys.
Well, there we see Ross Gunn's mechanics there frantically trying to fix that right rear suspension. As Ross said, they've bent the rear toe link there, and that's why you saw that right rear tyre just lilting to the right-hand side, and that's obviously not what you want when you want to go racing. Just 5 minutes of the race left to go. Ross saying how he was hopeful of being able to get out and do at least a few laps, but with just 5 minutes to go, that doesn't look like a quick job. And they, as Ross said, have lost a potentially good result today. Meanwhile, the upshot of all this is that Rainy Ho now leading the race in the number 6 Mercedes. Will Bamber in second position in the number 22. Those, the two survivors from that 5-car battle for the lead, Chris Chia, Lin Kang and David Pun, all coming together and all out. David Pun just tagging the back of Chris Chia, tagging Chris Chia into the wall. And then David Pun himself spun into the wall, hit the right rear of his car, and that's where the damage came in. And it appeared as if Lin Kang, the KTM, an innocent bystander, and just couldn't avoid the wreckage. We saw Lin Kang step out of his car, and his race unfortunately run as well. 4 minutes to go, the clock still ticking down, and no sign of the safety car coming in just yet. The yellow flag still waving, and the safety car lights still on. Well, a great shame for the 3 drivers who are out, and a great shame for all of us who wanted to see some close racing, because it really was a tremendous battle up at the front between those 5. It's very rare that you see the top 5 cars in a motor race so close together, so far into the race and so close to the end. It really did look as if it was going to be a battle royale, but unfortunately not the case. And it did look as if the number 5 Mercedes of Chris Chia has managed to get out again. That is the car right at the back of the field. It looked to me as if that is the number 5 car. We'll see hopefully as the cars come by here. And that is indeed the number 5 car of Chris Chia and Alex Fontana. So Chris Chia clearly living to fight another day. Obviously the damage with the wall not serious when he was tapped into the wall by David Pun. We saw him spin his car around. It looked as if he was beached there, and you can see a little bit of damage to the front right there. The front right bodywork just flapping a bit, but apart from that, the car does look as if it's all right. We'll see how quickly that car can go at racing speed, if indeed we do go racing, because there's only 2.5 minutes left. But Chris Chia at the moment still reading on the timing screens as being in 6th position. So it does appear that the number 5 car that salvaged 4th place yesterday after an unfortunate spin might salvage some points today after an unfortunate coming together as well. So what could have been a terrible weekend for the number 5 Phantom Pro racing car is turning into one of damage limitation, and it does indeed look as if Alex Fontana and Chris Chia might come away still with some points this weekend. The 2 of them still leading the championship in the GT4 standings, although if Rainy He, who is leading the race, carries on and wins, Rainy He would then leapfrog the 2 of them and assume the lead in the 2019 GT4 China GT Championship. Just a minute and a half to go now. And with these cars lapping at around 3 minutes under the safety car, I think this is all over bar the shouting. It doesn't look as if we're going to get any serious running for the remainder of the race. The lights still on. No sign of the safety car coming in just yet. So Rainy He in 1st position, Will Bamber in 2nd place, Dong Liang in 3rd position. In 4th place, climbing up almost unnoticed, is the number 49 car, piloted by Kenneth Lim, the Malaysian driver. So some useful points there. It looks as if that 49 car is going to finish 4th. And the number 999 car, that is the BMW of Wang Hao, currently in 7th position. A drive-through penalty for an infringement made under the safety car restart. So we didn't see what happened there, but Wang Hao will have 21 seconds added to his overall time, because it doesn't look as if there'll be enough time for him to take a drive-through penalty in the pit lane. Just 17 or 15 now seconds to go until the end of the race, until the 1 hour has elapsed. So it does appear as if the winner will be Rainy He and Lu Wei in the number 6 car. There we are, well, you can see why the safety car is still out as the clock ticks down to 0. That recovery truck on track there, trying to get rid of that stricken KTM. The only car that stopped on track, because the 618 Aston Martin we saw in the pits, we Saw the mechanics frantically trying to fix that right rear suspension, and it does appear as if they've got out. So David Pun still racing. Good to see that that damage didn't appear to have been terminal. So the only car stricken on track was the 86 KTM of Lin Kang and Lo Tse-ho, and that is why the checkered flag, that's why the safety car is out. The checkered flag has been shown, so these are the race results. The safety car, I would think, would pull in at the end of this lap, and all the other cars following in behind, and that means that the winner of this race, round 8 of the 2019 China GT Championship, is Rainy He and Lu Wei in the number 6 Phantom Pro Racing Mercedes. Well, you see there the finish line having been declared, the checkered flag being waved, and the drivers finishing the race in that order. Rainy He and Lu Wei winning the race. Will Bamber, Kuo Kuo Shin in second position. In third place, Michael O'Brien and Dong Liang, another car that we haven't seen too much of. But there we are. A nice, useful podium finish for those two drivers there. In fourth place, Kenneth Lim and Simon Tao. Another pair of drivers that we've hardly seen so far this morning, but there we are. Some useful points for the winning team, McLaren 570S of Kenneth Lim and Tsai Meng Tao. In fifth position, Liu Kai and Wei Tianyi in the other Extreme Motorsports KTM, the yellow and black car. In sixth place, Alex Fontana and Chris Chia, managing to salvage some points after an unfortunate end to proceedings. In seventh position, that is Wang Hao in the 999 Team Master Champ BMW. So Wang Hao finishing in the points despite that 21-second time penalty for overtaking under the safety car. And then in eighth place, or classified eighth, the 618 Aston Martin of Ross Gunn and David Pun. We saw them in the pits having that bent rear tow rod fixed, and they lost about 3 or 4 laps, but did finally manage to get out. So classified in 8th position. And then not finishing the race, the 86 car, the KTM that we saw stricken and being towed away by the recovery vehicle. So Lin Kang and Lo Tse-ho, unfortunately, after having driven such a good race, not managing to finish. And then not finishing the race, but classified in 10th, the 868 McLaren of Luo Kai Luo and Lei Ke, who again we didn't see too much of earlier in the race. But Rainy He and Lu Wei will be very pleased indeed with their morning's work, winning the race. And Rainy He, if my maths is correct, now assumes the lead in the GT4 Drivers' Championship. Still a lot of water on track, even after an hour's racing. So the drainage here at the Shougang GT circuit, not the best. We've seen yesterday some torrential rain just before the race. No rain during the actual race itself, but still some rivers of water running across the track, making life very difficult for the drivers indeed, as the drivers now follow the safety car into the pit lane and park firme. And we'll be speaking to the winning drivers hopefully very shortly indeed. Interested to hear from Rainy He and Lu Wei, and from Will Bamber and Kuo Kuo Shin. Especially interested to hear their thoughts on the big collision that we had just a few laps from the end that brought out this safety car. Rainy He and Will Bamber obviously managing to negotiate that, but Chris Chia, Lin Kang and David Pun unfortunately all coming a cropper one way or another. But there is Rainy He, the race winner. Very happy with his morning's work. Congratulated by Lu Wei. And handshakes and backslaps all round for the Phantom Pro Racing team. Chris Chia as well, despite having that little coming together. I should think he shouldn't be too downhearted, because he is, after all, the team owner of the Phantom Pro Racing team, wearing 2 hats as driver and team owner. so he at least still has something to cheer about. Rainy He there receiving the congratulations and the adulation from his mechanics and all of his teammates. Another good morning's work for the Chinese driver. Confirmation then of the final result. Rainy He and Liu Wei winning the race. Will Bamba and Guo Xin in second place. Michael O'Brien and Dong Liang in third position. Fourth place was Kenneth Lim and James Tsai. Fifth, the Extreme Motorsports car, the KTM of Liu Kai and Wei Tianyi. And salvaging sixth position, Alex Fontana and Chris Cheer, the second of three Phantom Pro Racing Mercedes. Then in seventh place, Wang Hao in the Team Master Champ BMW. And let's go down to Sophie now, who's with the race winners.
好，在这里呢，要祝贺在我身旁的6号车组2位车手吕威和何小乐获得了我们的 GT4 组别的第2回合正赛冠军 ，Congratulations！ 但首先问一下吕威吧，因为其实吕威从开赛的时候你就说了，希望今天有一个全新的体验，是否有全新的体验呢？在今天比赛当中 ，brand new experience today。
今天真的是很新体验啊！第一次开水胎在水地上走，刚开始场地还是挺滑的，不过我花了几圈时间去学习这台车和这个场地，毕竟第一次开这台车真正在雨天跑，所以很遗憾前面几台很快的职业车手把我超过去了。但是后来习惯之后，还好能跟住车阵，所以能安全把车交到我队友手里，还是挺不容易的。
好，非常感谢吕威。吕威 just says that it's definitely a brand new experience for him. It's the truly driving the car on wet tire, on wet circuit, and also because the first stint he competed with lots of professional drivers, so can follow all the other cars and bring the car to 小乐 is really great experience. 那小乐其实呢，在今天的比赛最后10分钟，我们所有的观众朋友都知道，这简直就是什么叫做螳螂捕蝉，黄雀在后？那说一下，就是你所经历的最后这10分钟的这个比赛过程当中，那个混战的当中，你是如何脱颖而出的？
的确，我上车之后，其实我的队友在跟第一棒的一些 Pro 的车手在较量的时候。我觉得首先他很出色，因为我看到他的圈速没有被前面的车带开太多，只有5-6秒的时间。所以当换上我的时候，其实我前后是没有赛车的，当时我也不太清楚，我也没有问车队，我当时与前面车的距离。然后后来，当然剩下的其他车组，因为他们把 AM 放在后面，所以比较晚出站。那我当时跑的时候前面比较干净，所以我尽量去做到他们之前起跑的时候新胎的圈速。但是后来到后半程，也就是还有差不多20分钟的时候，然后发生了一起安全车的事故，所以那个时候我才发现我前面其实有3部赛车，其实离我是有一定距离的。那我相信在5秒以上或者10秒更多。所以那个安全车其实给了我很多的帮助，那把我们都压缩到一起。在起跑之后，我试图跟上前面3部赛车，那因为他们有一些较量，所以速度会压得很慢。那我先过了一部 D2 的赛车，然后后面那我们知道发生了第2个事故，然后又引发了安全车，所以这场比赛像你说的螳螂捕蝉，黄雀在后。那我其实在后面在伺机希望可以再超掉2部赛车，但是他们发生了一些事故，其中也殃及了我的队友，所以我觉得他可能运气今天不太好，但是运气站到了我们这边。对。
好的，非常感谢小乐。So 小乐 just summarizes the whole game in his stint. He just says that his team created a very good lap time, especially didn't drag by the other opponents a lot of distances. So when the car turned out to Xiaole, he tries his best to keep up the speed with the other cars. And there are 2 safety car sessions come out, and one accident lead the top 3 cars out of the game, and he just overtook the car from D2 and successfully become the winner for the game. Thank you so much. 再次感谢2位，那也祝贺你们享受这个夺冠为本周末带来的色彩。好，那接下来时间转回到我们的解说间 ，cross back to your guys upstairs.
Yes, a very dramatic race here this morning. 2 separate safety car periods. And a big accident towards the end with Chris Cheer, Lin Kang and David Pun all falling foul of the conditions. Lin Kang having to retire from the race. And Chris Cheer and David Pun's cars eventually being able to rejoin, but some laps down. But a good result for Rainy He and Liu Wei. managing to avoid the chaos and avoid the carnage and come away with the win. Will Bamber and Guo Guoxin in the D2 Racing Mercedes, ultimately finishing in second position. The New Zealander and Guo Guoxin having a good race overall, and let's hear from them now with Sophie.
好的，那在我身旁的是22号车组的两位车手 Will Bamber 和郭国信获得了 GT4 组别亚军。Will, starting from you, starting the whole game, and how do you feel about your stint, especially because today there are so many strong competitors around you?
Yeah, it was always going to be tough for us starting from P8, so we had some work to do for sure. And then with the success ballast as well from yesterday, made the car quite tricky out there. But we did the best as possible, moved forward in the first few laps, and then managed to come out P3 at the end of the stint, just stayed out of trouble, which was good. Guo took over as well. Again, he was doing a good job after the safety car, and again, he sort of just stayed out of trouble there, and I guess the road just opened up for him, and I think he just got through like a few inches. So glad the car is back nice and safe. I think that works out pretty good for us with the points. We missed Shanghai, but maybe that puts us back in the championship hunt again, and then we go to Tianjin and have a good fight for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much, Will. Will 呢跟我们大家分享了一下，其实今天发车从第8位发车，再加上昨天的获胜负重50公斤，真的是非常难的一个体验，而且加上郭国信的这个部分，稍后也可以问一下他。几乎可以说是夹缝中求生存，在这个事故当中。那所以呢，也非常高兴这周因为拿了一个第一，一个第二，所以积分榜上又再次重回到我们的竞争区域。请问一下郭国信啊，昨天是拼了老命了，但今天呢，感觉是好运降临了，是吗？
今天其实蛮幸运的。其实我一开始出去又觉得说，今天的地非常的滑，所以我蛮小心在开的。而且今天真的很幸运，然后也得到这次的亚军，谢谢。
谢谢郭国信，也希望我们的两位车手能够尽享这周末的2个非常好的成绩啊。So 郭国信 just one more time emphasize the circuit today is really slippery, so he tries his best to manage to hold the car and hold the position. Thank you one more time. Enjoy the victory as well as the second place finish this weekend. And cross back to your guys. 接下来转回到我们的解说间，接下来时间我们有颁奖仪式 ，awarding ceremony is coming soon.
So a very action-packed afternoon here in Qinhuangdao. Plenty of action, 2 different safety car periods, and there we saw Lo Ziho there with a little bit of a slide on, losing the position to the Aston Martin. The 3 leaders there, line astern, lots of interested faces in the pit lane. Lo Ziho losing that position again to Alex Fontana, but then would soon make that position back a few corners later when Alex Fontana ran wide. Lo Ziho getting back past, but then just at the very next corner, Alex Fontana made a move up the inside, tagged Lo Ziho, and then Lo Ziho able to rejoin, but several positions down. Then came the pit stops, and then when the cars emerged, it was the number 5 Mercedes of Chris Chia up at the front. A little bit of drama there when the BMW of Wang Hao ended up in the barriers. He was able to rejoin, but that brought out the safety car, and that meant that we had 4 cars jostling for the lead. Very close racing up at the front, but Chris Chia still in the lead. David Pun getting a slide on there, and Guo Guoxin in the D2 Mercedes going wide and having his position taken by Liu Kai. Then the Aston Martin going up the inside of Chris Chia. David Pun taking the lead briefly, but again running wide. Chris Chia taking that lead back. A little bit of dodgem cars, and then Chris Chia snagging David Pun and putting the Aston Martin into the wall. And Liu Kai unfortunately being caught in the melee as well. Liu Kai ended up out of the race, very disappointed. The Aston Martin and the Mercedes able to rejoin after some extensive repairs. You see the Aston Martin there lilting to one side with a bit of rear suspension damage. That meant the safety car came out, and unfortunately the race was not able to restart, so the race finished under safety car conditions, and that meant that Rainy He and Lu Wei took the victory. Will Bamba and Kuo Xin finishing in second position, and they can be very pleased with their weekend's work, having won the first round here, round 7, yesterday morning, and second place here at round 8. A very good afternoon's work. Even interesting to hear them talking about the struggle with the success ballast, 50 kilograms of success ballast for this morning's race. And now let's go to the podium ceremony.
好的，那么您现在看到的是2019赛季中国超级跑车锦标赛秦皇岛站 GT4 组第2回合的颁奖仪式。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium ceremony of GT4 Class at the Round 2 of China GT Championship 2019 Qinhuangdao。首先，让我们有请本场的冠军车队，来自于魅影车队。Let's welcome the winning team of the class, Podium Pro Racing。有请本场第3名车手组合，来自于 The Winning Team Michelle O'Brien 和董亮。The second runner-up goes to from the winning team Michelle O'Brien and 董亮。有请本场第2名车手组合，来自于 D2 车队 Will Bamba 和郭国信。The first runner-up goes to from D2 team Will Bamba and 郭国信。有請本場冠軍車手組合，來自於 Podium Pro Racing 何小樂和呂薇。The champion is from Podium Pro Racing 何小樂 and 呂薇。那么有请我们的颁奖嘉宾，来自于米其林亚太赛事总监狄月池先生。Let's welcome our president to every top 3 place getters, Michelin Asia Pacific Motorsport. 有请本场的颁奖嘉宾，来自于沃顿智慧北京管理咨询有限公司乐红霞。Let's welcome our president to every top 3 place getters from Western Beijing Management Consulting Company, Miss 乐红霞。好的，请我们的颁奖嘉宾留在台前，与我们的获奖车手合影留念。好了，感谢我们的颁奖嘉宾。那接下来留给我们车手的是香槟的时间。Let's have champagne. 好的，接下来您将继续看到的是2019赛季中国超级跑车锦标赛秦皇岛站 GT4 组 PA 组的第2回合的颁奖仪式。So now let's welcome the top 3 place getters onto the podium. 有请本场的第3名车手组合，来自于 The Winning Team Michelle O'Brien 和董亮。The second run-up goes through from the winning team, Michelle O'Brien and Dong Liang. 有请本场的第2名车手组合，来自于 D2 车队 Wen Bamber 和郭伯信。The first run-up goes through from D2 racing team, Wen Bamber and 郭国信。有请本场的冠军车手组合，来自于 Phantom Pro Racing 何小乐和吕威。The champion is from Phantom Pro Racing 何小乐 and 吕威。有请我们本场的颁奖嘉宾，来自于懂车帝形象大使王开。Let's welcome our passenger to award top 3 place getters, Imagine Ambassador of D-Car Nico Wang。有请。好的，恭喜我们的车手。那接下来是我们车手的香槟的时间。Now is the champagne time. 下来您将继续看到的是2019赛季中国超级跑车锦标赛秦皇岛站绅士组的颁奖仪式。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium ceremony of GT4 Class at the Round 2 of China GT Championship 2019 in Qinhuangdao。有请本场的第3名车手组合，来自于 Extreme Motorsport 刘凯和来自于 Team Master Champ 王浩。The second run-up goes to from Team Master Champ 王浩。有请本场第2名车手组合，来自于 Extreme Motorsport 刘凯和魏天一。The first run-up goes to from Extreme Motorsport 刘凯 and 魏天一。有请本场的冠军车手组合，来自于 The Winning Team Kenneth Lim 和蔡孟涛。The champion is from the winning team Kenneth Lim and 蔡孟涛。好，有请我们本场的颁奖嘉宾，来自于恒华集团董事副总裁邝楠。Let's welcome our prisoner to award top 3 place getters from Henghua Group Vice President Huang Nan. 好的，请我们颁奖嘉宾留在台前，与我们的获奖车手合影留念。好的，那么接下来留给我们车手的是香槟的时间 ，Now is the champagne time。
Well, a fantastic race today, lots of drama, 2 safety car periods, and when the dust settled, Reinihe and Lu Wei winning the race in the number 6 Phantom Pro Racing car, Will Bamba and Kuo Xin taking 2nd place, and in 3rd place, the final podium position taken by Michael O'Brien and Dong Liang in the 570 McLaren. Bitter disappointment though for Ross Gunn and David Punn in the 618 Aston Martin, and also for Chris Chia and Alex Fontana in the number 5 Phantom Pro Racing Mercedes, both of whom involved in an incident towards the end of the race, which dropped them out of contention after what was shaping up to be a fantastic 5-way battle for the lead right into the closing laps. Lin Kang also falling foul of the conditions in the 86 Extreme Motorsports KTM Crossbow, that car becoming beached, and then unfortunately the safety car coming out until the end of the race. That was this morning in Qinhuangdao. Let's see you this afternoon for GT3 action.
好的，在这里呢，我们要祝贺所有登上领奖台的在 GT4 组别表现出色的获胜车手们，恭喜你们在第2回合获得如此优异的成绩。那在1个小时之后呢，我们将会在这个赛场上一起来见证的是 GT3 和 GTC 2个组别的同场较量，雨战更加精彩。稍后见。Okay, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to all the winners for GT4 category. Later on in just 1 hour, we're going to enjoy the races from GT3 and GTC category. Stay tuned with us. See you in 1 hour.